Welcome to lesson 3.1. So we are starting our expressions and equations unit. You guys have worked with expressions and equations before. You just may never have used that vocabulary before, or maybe not realized. So an expression is one or more numbers and variables with one or more operations. Now that's a super complicated definition, but I'm going to kind of explain that in just a second. A variable is a letter or a symbol that represents an unknown value. For example, you have x, like when we wrote proportional equations, y equals 5x. That's an equation, but it's also x is a variable, y is a variable. It's an unknown number. You don't have to use letters. You could draw a symbol like a flower or a squirrel if you wanted to represent an unknown value, and that would be okay. Now, the difference between expressions and equations. So expressions is one or more numbers and variables with one or more operations. So an example of an expression would be 3x plus 2. That could be an expression. 3 times a number plus 2. Okay, and do we know what that x value is? No. But, and then an expression turns it into an equation when we have an equal sign. So we can take an expression like 3x plus 2 and make it an equation if we set it equal to 5. Okay, and eventually in this unit you'll learn how to solve that. X is 1, by the way. But that's an equation. So an equation has an equal sign. So has an equal sign. An expression does not. No equal sign. Okay? There's a few things we can do with expressions. We can simplify or evaluate. So with expressions, you either simplify or evaluate. So example, when you guys did order of operations last year in 6th grade, that was either simplifying or evaluate the expression, because it's an expression, it's not an equation. An equation, we solve. Okay, we're solving for x. Like, what does x have to be to make that work? So again, an expression does not have an equal sign. An equation does have an equal sign. We simplify and evaluate expressions. We solve equations. Okay, so that's the difference, because you're going to work with both throughout your mathematics career, and so you have to understand what's the difference. Okay, then we have a coefficient. Okay, a coefficient is just a fancy word for the number that's multiplied with the variable. So for example, in our expression 3x plus 2, 3 would be the coefficient because 3 and x are being multiplied. Okay, a constant is a number that cannot change its value. So in 3x plus 2, 2 would be our constant because we can plug in anything for x, but that 2 is not going to change. Okay, it's a set number. 3x is not a set number. It depends on what x equals. That would change. The 2 will not change. It's a constant. Okay, so when we're looking at this expressions, coefficients, and constant sections right here, so I have 6m plus 5. Okay, so my coefficients I'm going to make orange. Sorry, I'm going to make it bigger. And then my constant is going to be purple. Okay, my constant is 5. Okay, my constant is going to be 5 in that first one. Okay, my coefficient is the number that's with the variable. That's 6. So my coefficient is 6. Okay, sometimes you're going to have more than one coefficient if you have more than one variable. Okay, you'll always only have one constant, because if you have like 4 plus 1 is 5. So your constant is 5. Okay, so then on this next one, 8x plus 7m plus 4, 8 is a coefficient and 7 is a coefficient. So my coefficients for this one are 8 and 7. And my constant, the number that doesn't change, is 4, because it's plus 4. It doesn't have a variable with it. It's just a known number. That is your constant. It's just a number with no variables. So it is 4. Okay, and then my next one, 14b, so 14, since it's with that variable, is going to be my coefficient, and negative 8 is my constant. Because I'm subtracting, that constant is going to be minus 8, and that coefficient is 4. Okay, and so, or 14, not 4, sorry. Okay, and then terms, each piece of an expression, that's what they are. Terms are separated by addition and subtraction. Okay, so if you're multiplying between them, it is one term. It does not separate. The only thing that separates terms is addition and subtraction. Okay, so if you notice, I have a plus, so I have my plus sign right here, 2. So I have 2 terms, and my 2 terms are a and 2. Those are my 2 terms that I have for this expression. Okay, whatever is separated by addition and subtraction, that is what makes a term. Okay, so let's look at 6m plus 5. I have a plus, the 2 terms that are separated, so I have 2 terms, and my 2 terms, one is 6m and the other is 5. Those are my terms. It's just each piece of an expression. So 3m plus 6n minus 6, there is 2, there's an addition and a subtraction sign, and so I have 1, 2, 3 terms. So I have 3 terms, and my terms are 3m, 6n, and negative 6. There's 3 different terms, 3m, 6n, and negative 6. That's what's separated by addition and subtraction. So then I have a plus sign, a minus sign, and a plus sign. So I'm going to count how many terms. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you notice how 7xy is one term? It's because that's multiplication. 7 times x times y. That is one term. Terms are only separated by addition and subtraction. So I have 4 terms here, and my terms are 7xy, 5x, negative 4y, and 2. Okay, do you notice how if I have a subtraction sign in front, I'm taking the negative with me? Because that's what happens. It's a negative 4y, okay? And so that is it for lesson 3.1. Bye.